No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Sam Matic here, back at it again for another video. And as my day can't get any more worse, Netflix decided to ruin it even more by announcing that they're working on a Persona live action adaptation. How is this gonna work? I don't know. But anyways, before I keep talking about it, before I read this article, please support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I will highly appreciate it. So let's get started. First, my thoughts and interpretation of this being announced, that the fact that they're making a live action Persona series is just so weird. Out of everything that you could think about, you make a Persona live action. Which is weird because Persona has always been a Japanese setting. From Persona 1 to Persona 5, it's always been a Japanese setting. So how are you going to transition that Japanese setting into an Americanized / Western style setting? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. But as you can tell from every other live action adaptation that Netflix has made, they're all pretty much horrible. Besides, I feel like One Piece was okay. It was pretty cheesy. The visuals and everything else, it was pretty cheesy, but they did the best that they could. Why? Because Oda is involved. The creator of One Piece is involved with the product, with what they're making, right? But everything else, the live action Yu Yu Hakusho, the live action Death Note, the live action, all the other live actions that they made were all trash, garbage. Live action Avatar, trash. First season was pretty decent, and that's because I feel like the original creators were there. Props to them for hanging on for that long. But then after a while, they left. And then after that, Netflix is like, damn, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna make it into our own shit. And then season 2 was just horrible. Season 2 was garbage. That's another rant that I could go on about another day. But the fact that they're making a live action Persona series with Netflix involved, I don't know what Sega is doing. I don't know what Sega is cooking. What are they cooking? What are they doing? I mean, they do a good job with the Sonic movies, but Sonic is a bigger IP and it's way more easier to make that into live action rather than Persona. I mean, Persona is just a little weird because then you got Personas, you got demons, you got the guy from the Velvet Room, the guy with the big nose and everything else. Like, how are you gonna make that into live action? And then on top of that, like I said, how are you gonna transition that into an Americanized setting where you're gonna put little white kids, little high school white kids into this setting where they turn, because Persona involves like the meta world and then the real life world. The real life world, obviously, you're in school, you're a high school kid, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing activities with all your friends and all this other stuff. How are they gonna adapt that into like? I just don't understand how are they gonna adapt that into like a live action. Like, there's so much going on in Persona. How are you gonna adapt that into a live action? Personally, I don't know, but it just broke my heart when I heard the news because I'm like, damn, they're gonna ruin another franchise. This tarnishes your IP. This tarnishes the source material. If you make a live action out of something, it's either forgettable or it's gonna be good. And most of the time, it's forgettable. I mean, have you seen the Yakuza live action, the Amazon Prime one, the one that came out? Very very forgettable, right? Nobody remembers that shit. Right? Because it didn't follow the original source material. It was so simple to follow this original source material, but you know what they did? They was like, nah, fuck that. We're not gonna add nobody. We're not gonna add Haruka. We're not gonna put the little girl in there. We're just gonna go our own pace. We're gonna put our own story. We're gonna put our own thing, and that's it. We're gonna put the regular characters, but we're just gonna put our own things on there. That shit was trash, garbage, right? And now you have a live action Persona series coming out. I don't know which one they're going to follow on. Are they going to follow on Persona 1, Persona 2, Persona 3? Like, I feel like the most one that you can follow is probably Persona 4. Because, you go through the TV, you do all this other stuff and this and that. And I feel like it's kind of, the fog going on and all that stuff. I feel like it's the most, or even Persona 5 a little bit. Because you got the Phantom Thieves. You could send you could send the calling card to like, the people who are doing bad shit and all this other stuff. You could make that into a live action adaptation, but I feel like it's gonna follow its own story. They're gonna make its own story, and they're gonna have this thing where it goes into the meta world or whatever. I don't know if they're trying to do this. I don't know if Sega is trying to do this in order to like advertise like future titles for Persona or whatever. But the fact that Persona is getting a live action, this is the last thing that I ever thought about, you know. So anyways, let's just read this article and let's see what this is about. So let's read it. Let's go. A live action series based on the Persona's video game series is in development at Netflix, according to a Variety report. Christopher Monfette will reportedly serve as the writer, executive producer, and showrunner. Shawn Levy and Robert Atwood of 21 Laps will also be executive produced along with Dimitri N. Johnson, Michael Lawrence Goldberg, and Timothy L. Stevenson via Story Kitchen. Toru Nakahara of Sega will also serve as executive producer. Toru Nakahara, I don't know what you're cooking, but yo, the fact that you're giving these people the permission to make a Persona live action, you're an idiot. Netflix declined to comment when contacted by Variety. And yeah, so that's all the information we know so far. So right now I'm gonna type in Christopher Monfette, right? Sounds like an Italian name. So we're gonna go to Christopher Monfette, right? So he's a writer. So what did he write? This guy looks like he doesn't know what the hell. Like, okay, let's see. So Christopher Monfette grew up in Massachusetts. As a lifelong lover of genre fiction, he began his career as an entertainment journalist for mainstay geek institutions IGN and G4, and transitioned to writing/producing for film and television. Sci-fi's acclaimed time travel series 12 Monkeys. He's worked for Fox 911 franchise and widely celebrated with the third season of Star Trek Picard. Alright, so he only worked on 3 series so far. So why the hell would they just magically just tell him like, hey, I mean, he's worked with G4 and he's worked with IGN before, so that's actually pretty good. I mean, he might know a little bit about video games and everything else, but like, yo, why not get a Japanese guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let's see who this executive producer showrunner is. Shawn Levy. Now let's see this guy. Shawn Levy. Oh god, this guy looks, I don't know, man. This guy looks a little scary. I'm not even gonna say anything, but he looks like he doesn't even know. What did he make? He looks like he doesn't know anything about video games at all, and he's gonna make whatever the fuck he wants. You know, he's gonna put anything that he wants. The fact that you're giving this Japanese game, right? You're making a fool out of yourself, because number one, this is a Japanese franchise, right? That's highly popularized in Japan. I'm sorry. Right, it's highly popularized in Japan, right? Because of this Japanese setting, the characters and everything else. It's you know, it can, for a lot of high school students and everyone in Japan and all this other stuff, you could kind of compare it to the lifestyle that the Persona characters live through, you know. But the fact that you got Shawn Levy and all these other people, like, you know, they're gonna look at Persona and be like, what the fuck am I reading? What is this shit? The Velvet Room? What the fuck is this? That's what they're gonna do, and oh my god, it makes me so sad. So he's known for Wolverine and Deadpool, which is a great movie. Free Guy, which is another, it was a decent movie. Arrival, never watched that. The Adam Project, never watched that. So yeah, Backroom, Stranger Things, Tales from 85, Stranger Things, executive producer for Stranger Things, The Perfect Couple. Okay, these are some pretty good projects, but once again, Persona, really? All right, let's go to the next guy, Robert Atwood. All right, Robert Atwood. This is the last guy we're gonna check out, Robert Atwood. All right, Robert Atwood. Robert Atwood was born in Springfield, Illinois, USA. Robert is a producer known for Kevin Probably Saves the World, untitled Netflix 21 Labs hockey drama series. So yeah, oh my god. So he's known for nothing. He's literally known for nothing. I mean, these are nothing I've never heard of. Kevin Probably Saves the World, Ringer, Will and Grace. I mean, I've heard of Will and Grace before, but 21 Laps. Are we really serious over here? We're giving the permission to these people who know nothing about video games, who know nothing about Persona. And you're giving them the credentials, you're giving them the permission to make a live action series out of Persona. One of the most famous and well-known JRPGs ever in history of gaming, right? And it's more popularized than ever. It's more popular than anything right as of right now. It's one of the biggest and most mainstream JRPGs in the world right now. One of the most. Final Fantasy is number 1, but Persona has to be number 2. Persona literally has to be number 2. I would counter that. I will put that in my heart that Persona has to be number 2. Final Fantasy number 1, but Persona has to be number 2. But I just don't know how I feel about this, guys. I don't know. With Persona 4 Revival coming out and Persona 6 being announced and everything else, what are they gonna do? Oh my God, guys! God help us. Someone needs to send a calling card to Netflix. Someone needs to send a calling card to Netflix to stop the bullshit. They do. I'm not saying anything crazy, but like somebody needs to do that so that way they could scare Netflix so that they could like back out of the project. They don't have to do this. They don't. I just can't believe it. I just really can't. I really can't believe it. This is one of my favorite video game franchise turning into a live action. You know, and people would be like, oh, they don't watch it and this and that. But like, yo, me personally, I like watching this stuff because I like to critique. You know, I like to criticize what they're bringing to the table compared to the source material. I had to be the criticizer. I had to critique all this shit. You know, just like the live action Avatar season 2, that shit was trash. Trash. Why make live actions out of these series? Why? They're running out of ideas in Hollywood. As you can tell, they always making remakes and all this other stuff. They always bringing back titles from like the 80s and 90s. They just brought back Masters of the Universe. They're going to bring back Terminator. They're going to bring back this. They're going to bring back Back to the Future. They're going to bring back all these things back from the 80s and the 90s and everything else because they're running out of ideas. They don't have nothing. They don't have a brand anymore. They don't have any creativity anymore. The only thing that's lasting in Hollywood is superhero movies. Superhero movies are the most creative things now, you know? And that you're getting out of source material once again because those are comic books, right? So it's like that's not even really that creative. So oh my God, remember when they made a Monster Hunter movie and that shit was ass? Remember when they made a Monster Hunter movie out of nowhere with Mila Jovovich and they made it and that shit was ass? Like, come on, man, they're gonna keep ruining these franchises. They're gonna keep ruining these movies. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. As a Persona fan, I'm just so frustrated. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are frustrated as much as me, but like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Persona live action out of everything. Like, no Japanese setting. We didn't even know if it's gonna be a Japanese setting. Come on. How are they gonna make the Personas? What they gonna do? They're gonna like, I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen, but to me personally, this is so weird. This is so stupid. I don't know what Sega's doing. Sega is trying to like expose these series even more to a wider audience, but it's like for what? For what? You gotta focus on the gamers. The gamers are the ones who are important. Don't focus on the casual audiences from from Hollywood and anything else. We don't need that. Sega knows. They did well with Sonic, but Sonic was a big ass IP in the 90s. That shit was competing with Mario. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was huge. But Persona's are very underrated compared to a lot of people don't know what the fuck that is. So when you have Shawn Levy and Robert Atwood and you have Christopher Monfette, you have all these people being like, yo, let's make a live action Persona series. They're gonna read what the fuck Persona is. I don't know how they're gonna work together with this Japanese guy. And then what? You got these people, Dimitri N. Johnson, Michael Lawrence, Goldberg, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not going to work well. I don't think it's going to work well. And I'll be so surprised if it does work well. Because if it does work well, I'll be happy as a Persona fan. But pretty much with everything that's been happening with Netflix, I'm pretty scared of how this is going to turn out, guys. So that's just what I'm going to say. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the reveal that they're gonna do a Persona live action series. Let me know in the comment section. Are you guys disappointed? Are you guys angry? What are your reactions to this? Let me know in the comment section. And please remember to support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I will highly appreciate it. My name is Sam Maddock, and I'll see you guys in the next video.